What if the story of Sparta, its warriors, its wars, its legendary discipline, is incomplete without understanding the women who shaped it? For centuries, textbooks have celebrated hoplites and kings, yet Spartan women quietly wielded influence that altered the very foundation of their society. Could their biology, their genes, have contributed to Sparta's unparalleled strength? Sparta is often imagined as a city of men, trained from birth to fight, to bleed, and to die in service of the polis. Yet, the lives of Spartan women, rarely chronicled with precision, suggest a society where resilience was not merely cultural, but deeply biological. Archaeological records reveal their distinctive upbringing. Girls trained in running, wrestling, and endurance exercises, remarkable in a world where women were largely confined to domestic life. Bone analyses from sites around Sparta indicate higher than average bone density in women of this era compared with contemporaneous Greek populations. This is not incidental. Dense bones, stronger joints, and enhanced musculature point to a lifestyle designed to produce endurance, agility, and strength. It also suggests that selection pressures may have favored these traits, not only culturally, but perhaps genetically. Yet, the question remains. Could these adaptations have been encoded in their DNA? Modern genetic studies comparing populations from the Peloponnese with other regions of ancient Greece hint at variations in genes associated with muscle performance, bone density, and cardiovascular efficiency. While ancient DNA from Spartan graves is scarce, indirect evidence, the biological profiles of their descendants, suggests a lineage with subtle yet measurable advantages in physical robustness and endurance. Archaeology provides the first window into understanding these women. At sites like the Menelaon and Laconian settlements, skeletons show repetitive stress markers in the upper and lower limbs, consistent with regular athletic activity. These are not the marks of occasional exertion, but of a lifetime of rigorous training. Household artifacts, bronze weights, ritual objects associated with public ceremonies, and the layout of homes further suggest women were active participants in community and military life, shaping not just households, but the society at large. If Spartan women were biologically and physically distinct, how did this affect the military and social structure that history credits exclusively to men? Could genes have influenced more than strength? Perhaps endurance, metabolic efficiency, or even aspects of immune resilience played a role, supporting a society able to sustain prolonged military campaigns without collapsing from the strain of war and disease. Historians long assumed Spartan women were simply freer than other Greek women, with property rights and social mobility. But that narrative omits the biological reality hinted at in skeletal remains and genetic proxies. Girls who were raised to run, jump, lift, and compete daily would not only have produced healthier children, but also influenced the social fabric. The maternal contribution to Sparta's population was more than symbolic, it was structural. Evidence from burial sites in Laconia reveals another subtle marker: women's pelvic morphology. Wider, more robust pelvic structures, alongside indicators of high physical activity, suggest childbirth in Sparta may have carried lower maternal mortality than in other Greek states. This would have directly influenced population sustainability and the ability to field successive generations of warriors, a silent genetic reinforcement of Sparta's military continuity. At GenealogyX, we've explored how human genetics intersect with history. And in the case of Sparta, understanding women's biology offers a missing chapter in ancient Greece. By combining skeletal evidence, DNA markers, and the archaeological record, a more nuanced, human-scale picture of Spartan society begins to emerge. The concept of selection pressures is crucial. In Sparta, survival was not left to chance. Women who were stronger, healthier, and more resilient likely had higher reproductive success, subtly influencing the population's genetic composition. Modern analogs in population genetics suggest that such pressures can create measurable differences over just a few generations, particularly in small, tightly knit societies like Sparta. Ancient texts support this indirect evidence. Plutarch, writing centuries later, remarked that Spartan mothers encouraged their sons to return from battle with their shield or on it. Such statements, while cultural, reflect a society where maternal guidance was intertwined with survival, and possibly genetics reinforced their ability to perform these roles without succumbing to the physical toll that might have afflicted women elsewhere in Greece. Athletic culture among Spartan girls was not mere tradition. Artifacts from training grounds show standardized weights and equipment. Comparative analysis of bone cross sections suggests that repetitive exercise shaped musculoskeletal architecture. These physical traits, when coupled with potential genetic predispositions for muscle efficiency and bone density, point to a population optimized for resilience. Here we pause with another question. If the success of Sparta rested on such interwoven biological and cultural systems, what does that imply about how we evaluate other historical societies? Could the invisible contributions of women, encoded in body and gene alike, be an overlooked driver of civilizations often credited only to male activity? Radiocarbon dating of skeletal remains, combined with isotope analysis, reveals that Spartan women's diets were unusually protein-rich compared to contemporary Greek populations. High-protein diets during developmental years can enhance muscle growth and bone density, and may interact with genetic predispositions to produce pronounced physiological effects. Geneticists studying modern Greek populations have traced alleles associated with metabolic efficiency and cardiovascular performance back to the Peloponnese. While direct DNA from 5th century BCE Spartan graves is limited, population genetics allows us to infer patterns consistent with the selective pressures observed archaeologically. These markers may have enhanced endurance, healing, and overall resilience, traits crucial in a society where survival depended on physical performance and social responsibility. Consider Sparta's paradox. Its male warriors received fame and documentation. Its female population, largely invisible in texts, exerted influence through genes, bodies, and culture. The endurance, strength, and health of Spartan women were not incidental, but essential. The civilization we remember, disciplined, resilient, militarily dominant, was possible because these women provided both genetic and societal scaffolding. Archaeology, genetics, and careful historical interpretation converge to revise our understanding. Spartan women shaped the genetic and social environment that allowed warriors to train, fight, and survive. Their biological advantages were amplified culturally through exercise, diet, and social expectations. Their legacy is woven into the very DNA of the society that would dominate the Peloponnese. Modern populations in the region offer subtle clues. Physiological studies reveal regional variations in bone density and endurance markers consistent with historical selection pressures. While culture has evolved, biology preserves the memory of these ancient adaptations. The human story, then, is not merely written in texts or battle accounts. It is inscribed in genes, bones, and daily practices passed across generations. As we reconstruct Sparta, one truth becomes clear. The women who shaped its society are largely invisible in conventional history, yet their impact endures, in genes, in bodies, and in the resilience of communities built upon their strength. When we ask how Sparta achieved its legendary military and social power, perhaps the quietest answer lies not on the battlefield, but in the home, the gymnasium, and the DNA of Spartan women themselves. And we leave with this lingering question. How many other civilizations, credited to men's deeds, were quietly powered by the unseen genetic and cultural contributions of women?